So we all know about germ theory. We all know about terrain theory. The way I'm sort of leaning towards now is more like it's a combination of parasite theory and terrain theory. I don't really believe in germ theory too much anymore. So we'll start. Should move. Oh, there we go. Deceptive parasites. And we've got the wrong monitor. Yeah. So I'm just thinking I can read off this one. These are beef tapeworm parasites. We probably all have one of these in us, believe it or not. And they're pretty crazy. These I think have suction. Their head has a suction on it. I think these also reproduce. They're like hermaphrodites. They don't actually have sex. They reproduce themselves. So it's all very interesting. Oh, sorry, we went past that one. Something's going on with the slides.
This client has seen multiple.
Just a second. Let's get the right slide up. Sheep Farm Studios. Big up, Dom. Big up, Chris. How you doing? Welcome. Good to see you. Good to see you. You're going to like this, actually. Stay tuned. We're just starting the parasite presentation now, and I really don't know whether to delete this or not. I don't know whether to leave this up or not. Anyway, but yeah, good to see you in the chat. Good to see everybody in the chat, actually. Big up to Rachel, Red Bull Vodka, MK, all the regulars, Sail Away. Yeah, it's been good, Credo. And give it a like and a share, guys, as we continue. I've got two screens up here, so it should be back one more. This one. So the NHS. My point I was making here is about. So
what's the flag? Is that a flag on the official NHS website, Rob?
No, I added it, but it may as well be. It's like Nicole Junkerman, that Mossad spy. She's on the board for SAGE. She appointed Matt Hancock. She is involved with the Vatican. She's involved with FIFA. Sepp Blatter. She's like a Bond girl. We talked about it before.
Yep, you have.
So that's how they get some of their fingers into our businesses. But this is what Worms and Humans. This is from the NHS website. But the point I'm making, they really don't. That diagram isn't from the website, just the text. But they don't go into it in any depth, and they wouldn't, because if you start learning about parasites and what they do to you and how parasites, got to be careful about using the C word on here. The crab, the star sign. You know, Clive de Carl got in a lot of trouble. I've got to mute this bit because this bit certainly shouldn't be on this platform. So I will just talk for about a minute. I think it's just about a minute. But yeah, so we're going to be talking about what's really living inside of us and what's just been said in the chat there. I'm not going to say it on here, but yeah. Very interesting. I've learned so much about parasites, and I've done a couple of little detoxes. I'm about to start another one. I just got some diatomaceous earth, but some other stronger things. We can't talk about it on here, really. But it's amazing, and they're the cause of all things that get wrong with us, if you know what I mean. I'm just disguising the words a bit. Let me just check if I can play it now. I think it might be finished. Disease and most cancers. Nope, can't. What a bad time to turn it up. But yeah, so yeah, I sometimes feel like this.
I don't understand you. It's crazy. You understand?
Good movie, that one, actually. Right, we'll check it now. They don't like oxygen. They like the opposite to what we like, and it's full on crazy. I've got a video. There's a video here, actually. On the left, that leg you see is somebody in Africa. This round one that comes out the leg, apparently it takes days to come out the leg. It's very painful as well, apparently. They're profound in Africa, but you'll see above the botfly, up here, the botfly. This is a story that I've got, right? The ex-girlfriend I told you about in South America, we were in the Amazon. And we're in the Amazon on a trek through Bolivia, and we went for a toilet. So we went off the trek, went for a piss, came back up, and she said, "With a load of mosquitoes." I said, "No." Anyway, she got bitten by a botfly. We didn't find this out till 6 weeks later. We were in Nicaragua, Central America. 6 weeks later, she wakes me up. There was 4 or 5 maggots coming out of a hole at the top of her bum, just below her hip, that she'd been bitten. So the botfly is essentially a parasite. The botfly bites a mosquito and lays its eggs on the mosquito. Then the botfly lives on the mosquito and gets transferred. When the mosquito bites you, it delivers a botfly parasite, and it grows inside you. It's crazy. That's one form of parasite. Right, we're going to get, hope nobody's eating right now, because we're going to watch a little video. This is a caloric irrigation after someone's dewormed themselves. Okay, check it out. It's quite funny. Not funny, but serious.
This client has seen us multiple times and has been doing an online protocol for worms, as she seems to have them all the time. We don't know why she's reinfecting, but we actually think she's not reinfecting now. We think she's just never getting rid of them. So we've put her on our protocol as of today, and you'll see that I'm going to zoom in on these. I got very excited. So this is the next lot coming through. And there's another one after this, which I've got as a separate video after another release, but you can see all those wiggly worms. So yeah.
Crazy.
So does a human being have any worms naturally?
Dom, that's exactly what I'm trying sort of saying in this presentation. There's a video from the National Geographic, I think it was in the 80s, and the guy said that parasites kill more people than any finish the word off. And it's so true. And it's funny because we have to be so careful about talking about this on this platform, because it destroys big pharma with an F. So yeah, I've not started passing them yet, Dom, if I'm honest. I wouldn't mind talking to you. Maybe I'll ping you an email actually, because I want to sort of step up this. Yeah, I'll send you an email, mate. But it's so interesting. It's so interesting, honestly. We'll continue with the presentation because there's some crazy information, and if you've not watched this, then it's just nuts, man. It's nuts.
Within them are parasites.
And they're everywhere as well, so I'll just continue. They're even in the sea. I talked to a fisherman in Cornwall just like a couple of weeks ago, and I was talking to him about them, and he says he pulls out massive when they're gutting the fish. He says he pulls out massive ones, and they're in the sea, and all these weird sea creatures down below, really deep. And it goes into another theory about this biogeology and these giants. If these mountains were giants and dragons in the Sahara, etc., then when they die, every animal, every human has parasites. So giants were no different. So giants would have had giant parasites, and there's not many people talking about it, but when the giants died and they're all petrified, these parasites got out and went into the sea. And that explains these weird, huge sea monsters from years ago on these maps. All these weird monsters and animals that people can't explain, because they might have been the giants from these, the parasites from these giants. How nuts is that? This is it. Like, parasites are worldwide, and it's something that I watched a video. I didn't get it for the presentation, but there's a National Geographic video, and it's from like the 80s, I think. And the presenter in it says parasites have killed more people than any war in the world. And this is what Big Pharma, I probably can't put this episode on my YouTube because you can't talk about this stuff on there. But Big Pharma will not let this parasite thing get out because it destroys it. Yeah, I'll just mute that for a minute. There are a couple of bits at the start of this parasite presentation that I like to keep the stream up. So I've just got to avoid these little bits where we can't talk about what we want to talk about on this platform. I looked into this, but well, a little bit. I have heard there are not all, let's say, parasite. Just let us pick up ask. It's too dodgy. I don't want to. Yeah, you know what I mean. So let's play a little jingle.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
We are. And I'll show you a little video of what I've been doing, actually. I'll show you it now while we're waiting, actually. Let me just see. Well, because of the stomach system. I think they have stronger acid than us, don't they? And okay. eating raw food. If you eat raw meat, And we'll go to the next one actually, because this next one.
This climate.
Oh no, this one. This one actually. This is a perfect one. This is Have you seen this video where a woman pours Coke onto pork meat?
Never
Have you
seen
seen
it.
it, David?
No,
Watch it. Watch it. Right. This is an example though. Like what you're saying about parasites. It's funny because they're pretty much everywhere. It's even like, they have strategy as well. I'm going to tell you some stories about. There's a story from the Bible about demons getting cast out of people, and the person doing it, I think it was Jesus actually, cast the demons into some pigs, and the pigs ran off a cliff and killed all themselves, and that's how the parasite gets back into the water supply, which then gets back in. It's crazy, man. But I'll show you this video on this pork here now. It's a quite interesting video. Just talking about, just going to quickly interject again, okay, because this is important about, do parasites communicate with each other? I think they do, for sure. Because a swarm of nanobots, which I'll be on tomorrow night. There's a lot of people, more people watching now. I'll be on tomorrow night doing part 2 of this presentation live with David Clues at 8 o'clock on Unity News Network, Rumble. But do parasites communicate? Because if you look at nanobots, right, when a nanobot gets separated from the other nanobots in the body, the nanobot will not stop trying to get back to the swarm, and they communicate with each other. And it's like what happens in the skies above us. What are they actually spraying? A lot of things, and we'll be talking about what's actually inside of us on a technical level more tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. So yeah, it's very it's nuts. It's really nuts. And all this stuff I said before, like all this stuff earlier I mentioned about the jibber jab, what they're doing, not spraying, what they're rolling out, it's almost a distraction, because I've found some information, I think it is true, and we are all nodes on the network already. That's what Mike's always in my face. We are nodes on the network already, I think, and we're going to be talking about that tomorrow night. It's going to be the bioengineering side of it.
Run! Go! Get to the chopper! Oh my God. How are you kidding?
See the white worms? Loads of white worms start coming out of the pork. Pork's one of the worst meats you can eat for parasites.
Fucking sick.
And fish, actually. So yeah, interesting. But did you see the worms?
Uh-huh.
A little bit, yeah, it's crazy. There's a couple more videos on YouTube. Just search for it, Coke on pork, and you'll see it. Same with Muslims. You know the story about, I've heard from a few Indians that I know, they don't eat pork because the guys told me that because it smells like human flesh. And it's quite interesting because pigs have a very similar genetic code to us as well. Have you heard that?
Yeah, very intelligent animals, pigs. You know, they say that.
Yeah, your audio's gone a bit funny, David, so I'm just going to interject. Yeah, Figgy in the chat, good to see you watching. You make a really good point about pigs, and I'm going to mention it now because they say pork meat. I do eat bacon. Crispy bacon is nice, but that's the only pork I eat. And yeah, I mean, right, pigs eat garbage. Even David, I think, said pigs eat their own feces and they roll around in it. So, I mean, if pigs are eating garbage, what's in garbage? I mean, the lowest of the food chain. So that's obviously going to be littered with parasites. So if they're eating them and we're eating them, then you're going to be consuming parasites. Why are we the only animal that doesn't get wormed? Your mic.
All right,
That's all right. I'll keep going.
That's it. Yeah, very. I mean, they say that pigs are super intelligent animals.
It's crazy. So we will continue. One sec. This is a good photo. I'm not very good at making like funny memes, but I quite like this one. And it's like, is it Jonathan Van Tam? Is it Sir? I don't.
Sir Jonathan Van Tam. They're all sirs now. Yeah.
No, Knights of the Order, etc. And you'll see Boris Johnson and June Rain. They both got Ukraine and Israeli flags appropriated to each other. Yeah. And but it's like my point about the NHS. Like when you start looking into essential oils, parasite detoxes, heavy metal detoxes, parasites love heavy metals as well. And if you detox metals, then the parasites won't have a nice environment for them to live in. It's very interesting. And when you start learning about all this alternative health stuff, then the NHS, the way I look at the NHS now is they're pretty much a butcher shop with certain things, not with everything. With emergency care, yeah, they are very good, but certain small operations and stuff like that, I think they're butchers. But yeah.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And a lot of nurses are very naive as well, I think, and they need to start. You know what we've just been through. It's been crazy. So yeah.
But is it not? Is it not the reason that Muslims and Jews don't eat pork is because the pigs eat their own?
Could be
toilet. You know, they say they're a filthy animal.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They roll about in their own feces and eat it sometimes.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. So this meme is a good one. This is from a few years
ago. See, I like
ago.
pork. This is the problem. I like pork. Although, do you know what I really like? I like lamb. I think we don't eat enough lamb anymore. We used to eat a lot of lamb.
I agree. Lamb, a leg of lamb and a slow cooker all day with some red wine gravy. It's pucker. Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Dogs do that. Yeah, dogs do. My dogs don't. My dogs don't eat shit, but some dogs do as well, and probably that's why we shouldn't really eat dogs.
Yeah, well, it's like when if you give a dog raw tripe, which is really good for a dog. Think about the tripe. That's part of an animal that's already infested with parasites. Maybe not infested, but it's going to have some parasites. So it's a funny. I did a show last night. I was talking about all these. Just digress, but all these old world buildings, they didn't used to have toilets in them. A lot of them, and it's like this period from 1858 to 1900. There was some sort of reset, and they kind of changed us as humans to start eating other animals and stuff. It's funny. It's like we used to get the energy to live from the ether, all these free energy buildings and stuff like that. It's very interesting. So I digress. But what we got next? We've got. There's this a meme I made a while ago about the Knights Hospitalier that merged with the Knights Templar not too long ago. That also merged with the Vatican, and it's like how they've been these knights, these Hospitalier knights, have pretty much been running the show health wise since 1099, since they were in Jerusalem and stuff like that. It's crazy. Yeah. The St. John ambulance with the Knights of Malta, Knights of Malta.
Someone actually showed me. Well, apparently Patrick Henningsen blocked someone on Twitter because they pointed out Nelson Mandela was a part of the Order of the Knights of Malta.
He was. Yeah, he was.
Who are the Knights of Malta, Rob?
So the Knights of Malta. It's funny because it can be confusing for people that don't know about it. The Knights Templars were the bankers. The Knights of Malta were formed kind of from the Knights Hospitalier. The Knights Hospitalier were in, I think, the Second Crusade when they went to Jerusalem to get the Ark of the Covenant. But so did the Templars. And the Templars, this is why the Templars formed the banking industry, because the Templars accrued a lot of land, which then gave them money, and that's how they started banks. But the Knights of Malta, kind of a combination of both, although they are the Order of Malta. But in these secret societies, the problem with them is you'll get the Order of the Garter, Tony Blair, but it'll also be a Mason. and he'll also be in some other secret societies, so they kind of overlap in a way, I think.
Yeah. See, I honestly, I don't get the whole secret society stuff. Just genuinely, I've said this before. My dad was a Mason, right? He was in the Masons.
My dad was too. Yeah, but low level.
He was, yeah. He just went along because he was in banking, and in the west of Scotland, if you were in banking, you had to be a Mason. It was thing is, it was a very west of Scotland Protestant thing. If you were a west of Scotland Protestant, you were a Mason as well. I went to like a couple of burnt suppers when I was about 18, 19, and I was like, this is just weird. And as I say, and then ever since then, I've always, any secret society, I've always been very skeptical of, whether it's the Knights of St. Columba or like the Hibernian Order, any of that stuff, Freemasons, anything where it's secret. Now, look, I'm not saying you have to do everything in public, but no, excuse me, Galahad, I've admitted that on numerous occasions before. I don't lie about it. I've admitted that before, but it was always to me very weird, and I just was always fundamentally opposed to it because it was wrong. And as you say, growing up like in the west of Scotland, it was a west of Scotland thing. Like people were in the Masons, you know. It was a big Freemasonry was a very Scottish. I mean, it was founded in Scotland. The Scottish Rite as well.
Just about to say that, yeah. Trump's a part of that, and it's even the first lodge was in London in 1707. That's the first Grand Lodge in London, but it did come down from Scotland, and it's even like there's so many links between the BIS, the Bank of International Settlements. That is the Templars Bank in Switzerland, and it's funny because it's like you say about secret societies. It's not the government. The governments are doing what they're doing with this tyranny, but it's a handful of people in each government, worldwide almost, from these secret societies that are the problem.
See the Templars, would they lend money with interest? Because was it not only Jews that used to do that? Like that's where a lot of the problems came from. So the Templars also lent money with usury on it as well.
Usury, exactly. Yeah. So the Templars made it mainly focused on the Knights Templars were the highest regarded knights in the world. Then the Knights Hospitalier were kind of like them, but they kind of swept in after the Knights Templars and created hospitals and looked after people, but I think with nefarious views.
Yeah. Fabian's Trilateral Commission, Bilderberg, etc. Jay Taylor says that's a lie. Look, I'm not saying all these organizations are bad. I'm not saying everyone involved. It's like, again, David Icke talks about this, about the Masons. He's not talking about the guy down the lodge. I actually met a very good friend of mine the other week. I won't name him. And he was still going to the lodge, and I was like, how can you still go there knowing all the stuff that you now know? How can you still go and take part in that garbage, you know? And like I've seen some videos about it. Was it like turning the Hiram key or something like that? Is that not the big thing in the Masons? And it's all
it's all blackmail.
Skulls as well. There's skulls in it as well.
Yeah. I think that for me, the Masons, like when you go high, I'm talking high. I'm not talking about low level Masons like our dads. Like, just gonna mute this bit for a minute because I'm not sure. I have to move my mic. Yeah, it's not the subject we want to be talking about on here. But I hope everybody's enjoying the show. We are going to be talking about part 2 of this presentation, continuing this on tomorrow night at 8:00. Rumble, Unity News Network.
Yeah. A lot of Masons are head of churches, which you really shouldn't be, because if you're a Christian, you should unequivocally believe in the the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, the triune God, who that. There's no way about it. Whereas in Freemasonry, you believe in a grand architect of the universe.
Yeah.
It's very Kabbalistic as well. You know, it's very illusory. Whereas, you know, and I know not all of you're Christians. I know some people don't like Christianity. I am a Christian. Whereas Your Christianity is very definitive that Jesus was a man, he was the Son of God. Whereas this grand architect, this like, who could the grand architect be? Who could this?
Lucifer. And this is where we are, you know. Lucifer, I think, is the grand architect of this realm. Who's he inhabitant? Is he in Kaiser Charlie Gotha? I don't know. Who's in Jeff Bezos? Who's in Elon Musk? Who's inside George Soros, George Bush, Ted Bush? All these people. It's nuts. It's like when you're waking up. Like, imagine waking up now. Imagine waking up now. This, big up to Patrick, Amy and Patrick, congratulations as well. But Patrick sent me this meme, one of the viewers. Watch.
It can't be like this.
It is this way, man. I'm sorry I exposed you to it, but it is. It's ugly, but it's necessary. And I know what you're going through. I know what you're feeling. You're scared.
I'm not scared.
Sure, you're terrified. Everybody goes through that the first time. I went through it. The sooner you can match what's in your head with what's going on in the real world, the better you're gonna feel.
And that's it. That's that decision that sheeple have to not sheeple, but, you know, normal people that aren't looking at what we're looking at, they have to make that decision, and it must be hard for them. Some are like teetering around the edge. I know a few. It's interesting where we are right now. What a crazy time to be alive. Fact.
Man of light be like Luciferianism like, as well is about Lucifer. That.
Yeah, for me, the Masons, even going back to Nimrod. Nimrod was the first Grand Master of Freemasonry. Going back to that, and it's like how this secret society, if it's been around, well, since Nimrod, since Babylon, since 3000 BCE, so this secret society has been around since then, since Nimrod formed it. And that's crazy. Like, it's what, 5,000 years it's been behind the scenes, pushing us into these kettle, and it's nuts.
Yeah, no. As I said, I if I was God Emperor of this country, we would ban all these secret societies. Sorry, move on, Rob. So how does this tie into parasites then?
Yeah, so that was just digressing a bit, but it is linked. So this is really interesting as well. All oral parasites, they're called nematodes, live in cavities apparently, and it's like parasites are transmissible, which we're going to get onto in a little bit. I'll play the video here because it's very this woman's very interesting. She's got this like dental plan. She's all about this different. She's a very interesting dentist. If you've got tooth problems, I can put the link somewhere.
Well, I went to the dentist last week and they said my teeth were fine, but my gums would have to go.
Do you know what's funny? But see, when she tells you, right, it's funny you said that. When she tells you to brush your teeth, don't brush your teeth. Don't focus on your teeth. She says you should really be massaging your gums, because
actually know that. Yeah, you should brush your gums because most of your tooth's actually in your gum, isn't it?
It's very interesting. What that's doing is it's oxygenating. It's like a massage on the shoulder. It's going to oxygenate that area. It's really interesting. Right, let's run VT.
Cavities and gum disease are transferable bacterial infections. We have also talked about the fact that in a mouth, there are hundreds of kinds of different bacteria. And what happens when you brush your teeth, in one brushing, a brand new toothbrush used one time will pick up all the bacteria in your mouth. That should be shocking to you. And it should be really shocking to you if you are fighting cavities or you are going regularly for cleanings for a periodontal infection. I even know people who went for periodontal surgery and were never told to change their toothbrush when they went home. I go further than that. I go as far as to say that your toothbrush should be given every opportunity to be cleaned between uses. And that is, you can never, ever store your toothbrush under a cover, in a bag. I've seen people store their toothbrushes in the center of the car, glove compartment, in gym bags, at work, in containers. And anaerobic bacteria, these are the worst kind of mouth bacteria, and they grow in conditions with low oxygen, which would be inside a bag. So never, ever store your toothbrush under a cover, even if it's one of these fancy ultraviolet light.
What I've been doing, I'll just show you guys one of my toothbrushes. I've got two now, right? Two new ones. What she says to do, it's really interesting women. I'll send you the link so you can drop it in the Telegram group if anybody wants to follow her. But when you finish brushing, rinse your toothbrush, make sure it's all clean, then dip it in mouthwash, in the alcohol, because the alcohol mouthwash cleans all the bacteria from your toothbrush. It's quite interesting. That's what I've been doing recently. Then your toothbrush is clean for when you brush your teeth next time.
Cavities and gum disease are transferable bacterial infections. We have also talked about the fact that in a mouth, there are hundreds of kinds of different bacteria. And what happens when you brush your teeth...
Playing again, sorry.
Right, so let me just clarify this, because a few people are talking about this in the chat, right? Viruses cannot be passed on because viruses are dead, right? So you can't pass on a virus. Can you pass on bacterias?
Yeah. This is definitely, yeah, I think so. And this is where it splits.
So you can. So if you pass, so like when they talk about sexually transmitted infections, is that bacteria that's being passed on to one another? It's not a virus. Right. It's a bacteria.
What you're talking
about?
I'm not.
I don't know. Like, don't shoot me. I just don't. I'm trying to find out. I don't believe in the viruses stuff. I think the viruses stuff is garbage. But I still think you can pass on bacterial. That's my kind of take on it.
No, for sure. I agree. I think bacteria and parasites. What you're talking about brings us perfectly onto the next slide, which is you may kiss the bride in the top on the right hand side, right? It's a story I've got about. So the reason that, apparently this comes from a long time ago, the reason they say you may kiss the bride now, you may kiss the bride when you get married, is because you weren't supposed to have kissed her yet, because back then, like talking about 100, 200 years ago, there was an awareness of this parasites being transferred. It's quite funny. This is nuts. The next story about toxoplasmosis. So we all know mice are scared of cats, right? This is a crazy story. And it's about strategy. These parasites, it's like they communicate with each other. We think they do communicate with each other, and it's nuts. It's like they operate from a hive mind or something. But the mouse is usually scared from a cat. But when the mouse is infected with toxoplasmosis, which toxoplasmosis only grows, it's a parasite. And it only grows in the stomach of a cat, right? So when the mouse, when infected with toxoplasmosis, it doesn't get scared of the cat. So it'll run in front of the cat and the cat will eat it. Then that's the circle of the parasite getting back into the cat's stomach to reproduce again. And
again, someone pointed this out. A parasite fundamentally needs someone or something to feed on. The parasite cannot. Is a bacteria a parasite, or is a bacteria different?
No. I think that this is where it splits. Well, it's kind of, yeah. When you talk about bacteria, I mean, I'm not a medical expert either, but I think personally, I think the bacteria is more micro than the parasites. Although we can talk about nanobots being even smaller than as small as some small bacteria. But I think generally parasites are a lot bigger, the ones I'm talking about, than bacteria. Although those nematodes that might live in your fillings and your cavities, they will be very small.
So really what you're trying to argue, Rob, is that one thing modern medicine doesn't talk about is the parasites that people have within their body. And these parasites are the cause of the vast majority of the ailments that people suffer.
Yeah, that's totally what I'm saying. Totally, yeah, totally. Parasites are, I believe, the cause of most disease, and nearly all disease. I've heard other people say that as well. It's quite interesting. They also say, I heard Autodidactic talking about this. I'll get my face right. I heard Autodidactic talking about this. About it's going on my head. What was it? Yeah, every 7 years you get a new body because all your cells regenerate. So every 7 years, they're talking about tattoos and how does the ink stay in the body when your body regenerates every 7 years. It's very interesting. Anyway, but we've got about 45 minutes to go. and then we will shut up shop for tonight. But I hope everybody's enjoying the show. So this is some more interesting story. So the ants also, well, there's a parasite that bites an ant. Even so, Boss just mentioned in the chat about showering, like having a bath. Don't have long baths, or make sure. I once ran a bath. I made this water filter out of activated charcoal. It's quite easy to make activated charcoal in a pan above a fire for about 6 hours. Put some hardwood in there, and it will dry out and become activated charcoal. And you can cut a 2-litre bottle, fill it with charcoal, put a bit of string in it, a bit of paracord, hook it over the tap, and let the water drain through that when you run your bath, right? Have a bath, and your skin feels so much more oily in it because the water is really, really clean. Try it. I've done it before. It's good. It's quite interesting. It takes a bit longer to run your bath, maybe about half an hour, but just try it. It's good. It's worth it. And that also, it comes from a cow. And again, the cows eat the grass. So some ants that are infected with this parasite will climb up the blade of grass to the top. So the cow eats them. And it's a parasite making the animal do that. The other story is the one about the demons and the pigs. Good, carry on.
Just remember there, because someone mentioned it. There was a guy in Australia ate a slug, and he was wheelchair bound the rest of his life.
Oh, I heard about this. I did, but maybe 6 months, a year ago, or something like a while ago.
It was a joke. They were drinking beer, and he was to drink a slug, and he drank the slug, and then because slugs are really dangerous for dogs.
Right. Interesting. It's nuts. I did hear that as well, actually. But this story comes from the Bible, Mark 5, 120, and it's a story about Jesus apparently casts demons out of some people into a herd of pigs.
Yeah.
And the pigs ran off the cliff, and the reason why they ran off the cliff was so the pig's body will decompose and the parasite will get back into the water supply that will then get back into the human. And we can talk about, like, there's a link between all these parasites and demons and possession. And it goes deep. It goes very deep. Even it touches on the sides of the Nephilim that I talk about, these evil spirits that, Dom, if you're watching, we should do a show. I'd love to do a show with you about the link between parasites being demonic, the bridge to the demonic realm. I'd love to do a podcast about that with you. It'd be cool. I'm talking about the Nephilim and all that shit. Anyway, done the Sorry about that, guys. I hit the wrong button. It's deep. It goes very deep. Even it touches on the sides of the Nephilim that I talk about, these evil spirits that possess people. I believe they possess a lot of politicians and royalty. And it's really deep subject, what we're talking about. It's fascinating. So, more parasite poop and cancer. I should have spelled it with a K, but that is supposed to be a spelling mistake.
Why would you eat a slug? It was like they were doing a drinking game, and he was goaded into doing it, and he became paralyzed the rest of his life.
Crazy, isn't it? So yeah, we got pharmacy. Pharmacy comes from the Greek word pharmakia, which also translates to witchcraft and sorcery. Pharmakia, it comes from the Greek, as Greek. Also, the link between parasites and cancer with a K. Where we have to have a little break there. I'm just going to show you something because I'm just playing around with my little bowl. Watch. I lost it there. Oh, you can't see it with that watch. I'll put it back on a sec. I nearly hit the mic. Right, back to the show. I had to skip that bit. We can't talk about that on here. Terrible, isn't it?
I was reading up the other day, like the pasteurization.
It's shit.
And that's just bullshit. Pasteurization is just utter bullshit. Like, to say that.
I was in a farm shop yesterday, getting some liver. I did liver and onions, lovely. And it's funny.
Yeah.
When
No one eats liver anymore. You should eat liver.
I do. No. Do you know what? So I was talking about bath routines. Bath routines are very important. Run your bath. Try that activated charcoal trick. Honestly, it works. You feel your skin. It's so oily compared to a normal bath. So why is that? But when you have a bath, chuck a load of vitamin C in it. Chuck Epsom salts. Also a drop or two of turpentine oil. That's what I've been doing. Also, parasites hate that. And something else as well I was putting in it. I can't remember now. A little bit of coconut oil, tiny bit. Anyway, when you eat liver, there's a major benefit for your liver. It's like in Turkey, like the health difference I saw in myself. Eating good food, not breathing in poisonous air, swimming every day, and eating the right foods and getting sun. The difference in me was like, no,
the cold water therapy. I mean, I'm just freezing just now. I can't do it. But come the summer, I love jumping in the sea, the cold water stuff. Yeah, the pasteurization is absolute bullshit. You know, you do not need to pasteurize milk. It's just a total lie about pasteurization. And I can't remember. Apparently, there was a Rockefeller, I think, behind pasteurization, or they funded it. It was bullshit. Like the thing that people don't get is people talk about like the olden days and they say, well, why did all these people used to die? Well, they used to die because technology wasn't advanced and people lived in overcrowded conditions, really bad sanitation.
Bullshit.
You sell it's all bullshit.
Bad food prep, like, do you know what I mean? And
totally.
Then they just invented all this stuff for reasons why. Like, why should you have to pasteurize milk when human beings have like dry? It's like I had a fight with my wife. I've fights with my wife quite regularly about things. Like I said, I don't believe the majority of these allergies. I think that's bullshit because when I was growing up, nobody had allergies. Why do people have allergies now? Why have we all of a sudden developed allergies to things? Can someone explain to me? I don't understand this. How can being within 10 feet of a peanut kill you? How does that happen?
It's strange. It's like the whole allergy thing, and they say, well, me and you are the same age. Like when we were young, I was on Butte climbing trees, falling off trees, getting dirty, getting the soil on your skin, and it's like they say that kids now that have been in the house all their life, they've got a weaker immune system.
Yeah,
I think
they do.
there probably is something in that. Even like the effects of Wi-Fi on your immune system as well. It's interesting.
Yeah, because of all the poisons. Like, how is that? Like, a peanut is a perfectly normal thing, right? And you're telling me that someone, like, because remember there was a girl on a plane that apparently, like, someone opened a bag of peanuts,
smelled a peanut,
and
I know,
and then died. I mean, how's that? Like, can someone explain to me how that's even possible? That like a peanut can kill you like that? And now you go into a restaurant, they've got all the allergies. They've got. And like when you go out or you're anywhere, they say to you, well, do you have any allergies? And I'm a bit like...
Do you know that example, what he's just said about, right? It's exactly like folic acid. Because of these allergies, he's dead right, I'm not going to go into that, but the correct analogy or the same procedure is what they're doing with folic acid in bread in the UK. It's really not good for your heart. And it just exacerbates what's going on with the lots of people go to sleep. So watch your words on this platform. But yeah, very interesting.
What
it's like? Hey, I tell you what's interesting. What they've done, and everybody lives in the UK should be aware of it. They started putting folic acid in bread, right? And what this folic acid does to your heart. The reason they do it, they started adding folic acid into bread because it's really good for pregnant women, right? That's the only reason they did it. But what it does something I can't remember exactly. But folic acid, it makes your heart work harder, and it's like same as what this like everybody's what's happening now. I'm actually I don't eat much bread I don't eat much bread anymore.
Yeah, the thing is, I absolutely love bread, but
I like it. Yeah,
you just can't do it because it's just utter stodge, isn't it? And it's pure pure carb killer, isn't it? Quite a lot of people saying it's because of the reason with the anaphylactic shocks is the peanuts in the vaccines. So there's peanut oil in the MMR vaccine, and if you so that then if you're then experience it, then it creates an anaphylactic shock. That actually makes a hell of a lot of sense, because that thanks guys again, you make me who the man I am. Some people are saying that as well, like the shellfish, they use shellfish in childhood jabs as well. So that for some reason when you encounter shellfish, it provokes an immune reaction because of the vaccine and just causes. That's very believable. That makes sense to me.
It's like bread. Just going back to bread before we finish. The problem with bread is the hybridized wheat. Back in I think it was the 50s, wheat used to grow 4 or 5 feet tall. Now it only grows like 3 feet. They changed the genetics in the wheat, and it's like you say, they made it more stodgy. Wheat used to be good for us, but not anymore. They've GMO'd it, you know.
Yeah. Crazy. Right. Well, a couple more slides, Rob, and then we'll call it quits.
This next one's interesting, and it's going on to the full moon. And what do we call crazy people? Call them lunatics. What do we call the moon? Lunar. And it's funny because I did this thing.
Right? Do you know something? I love it when you come on. I had never thought about that before. Where does that come from? Lunatic. Luna is the moon.
This is it. Well, we were in Turkey in Bodrum, right? And it was always like the day before the full moon, right? There was a taxi rank across the road from our apartment up on a hill. And we'd always see the taxi drivers, the Turkish men, used to have fights. They used to have actual throwing digs at each other, arguing over fares or something like that. And it was always around the full moon. And it's like, honestly, like, so parasites, well, when there's a full moon, it's parasites laying egg time. It's the time they reproduce. When you do a detox, you should always start it 2 or 3 days before a full moon and finish, like, run it through the full moon. I'll read it out. The idea that a full moon makes people crazy didn't go out of fashion with togas, though. In the 1700s, a British legal expert and judge wrote, "A lunatic." Oh no, so that's not the right one I was reading. Sorry, just talking about lunatics and how it comes from Latin, luna being the moon, and tick being a parasite. Tick, it's crazy, but
so the parasites react to the moon.
Yeah, and it's like this energy. It's like this negative energy. I get it with my solar panels on the boat, right? When I'll have a good voltage on my power bank, on my battery bank system, when the moon comes out, it'll drop quite a bit. And I think there's some like black. It's like the black light. It's like this negative light when the moon is some sort. Even the moon. Don't get me started on it, but is it real? For me, I think it's plasma. I think it's some sort of projection. I don't know, but then what is it doing with the tides? And why do people feel queasy and uneasy? Have you ever felt uneasy around a full moon? I get it.
I've never thought about it.
See, so some full moons, I'll feel a sense of like really uneasiness, like and don't feel comfortable in my own skin. And it's the parasites, because parasites are all coming out and they're pooping and they're laying eggs. It's crazy. I was in Cornwall, right? There's this nut story. They hate turpentine oil. Well, I've got some here actually. Pine gum oil. It's from the pine tree. It's rich. The parasites hate it, right? I was laying in bed one night. I rubbed some turpentine on my oil about half an hour earlier. I was going to sleep and I could feel something moving around in my stomach. The TV was off and I was lay there like it wasn't small either. I don't know, but it's like I disturbed it, and it's nuts, crazy. But
why does Islam place so much emphasis on the moon? You know, like the crescent moon. Do they not say that like Allah is actually a moon god?
It's probably I need to research that more, but there is the moon's a fascinating thing for me. Even before I was awake, I always wondered why we only see one face of the moon, one side of the moon. Why does it never change? Why don't we ever see this different picture? That's the major red flag for me.
Yeah, but I think I've heard that before, that Allah is the moon god. Like, why do they have the crescent moon as their symbol? Someone will be able to. Islam works on a lunar cycle. Yeah. Oh, guys, a lot of people talking about the red heifer. I'm gonna actually talk about that maybe tomorrow night. Have you heard this, Rob, about the red heifer?
No. What is it?
You've never heard about the red heifer? So the Messianic Jews, not Christian Messianic Jews, but other ones who believe in bringing back the Moshiach, they believe that a red cow is going to come back, and the red cow is going to be sacrificed, and it's going to herald the Antichrist. Well, they say he's the Messiah, but a lot of people and they're actually building a structure in Jerusalem. So apparently they're genetically modifying cows,
really,
to try and create the red heifer.
It's like
talk to me about this. Why is Julia Hartley Brewer there? Jimmy Savile.
It's
Julia
like,
Hartley Brewer.
I just want to talk about Kaiser Charlie Gotha. Like, you know, I often wonder what or who isn't actually. There's two photos there, Jimmy Savile and Kaiser Charlie Gotha. I wonder who, or like we talk about possession and demons. I think Lucifer might be inside Kaiser Charlie Gotha. I don't know. Like this whole, well, maybe not that, but who was in Jimmy Savile to make Savile do what he did? And we talk about the Nephilim, about these evil spirits. If these evil spirits are in these bodies, then it would explain why Jimmy Savile did all that stuff, because it wasn't really Jimmy Savile, it was whoever was inside of him. The photo with the eye is a whipworm. Sorry for being a bit graphic about it, but it's unfortunately quite real. But yeah, you got Julie Hartley Brewer. This was a slide just of parasites generally. Kaiser Charlie Gotha, Savile, and Brewer, who I believe maybe is a man.
Yeah. I think we're on to that as well, right?
What does everybody think about Julie Hartley Brewer? Comment in the chat, honestly, because it's a funny one with him, I don't know. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, Jimmy Savile. Even in Hogdan Munch as well. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you.
Joseph's up. Joey's up. Big. Yeah.
Should we finish it?
I need to talk about this red heifer story. Like that's. I've got a 15-minute video to actually watch on that. Rob, how many more slides have we got?
Oh, there's too many to do tonight, mate.
Right, we'll do that again. I mean, I think we've had a pretty deep show.
We're on 15
tonight.
We're on 15 out of 38. So we've got. Yeah.
Well, listen. Thank you so much for the effort and time that you put into this. And I'll just take that screen off.
I'll take that off. Yeah, that's fine.
It's gone. Yeah. I mean, yeah, they talk about rebuilding the third. Like Adam Green. Do you ever watch Adam Green's stuff?
Is he on BitChute?
Yeah, and No More News.
Yeah, I need to watch some more of him. I did used to watch him. Yeah,
he talks about like a lot of. See, this is again what people don't realize is these messianic Christian Zionists over in America. People don't really realize again how mental these people actually are. Like these people genuinely think they're going to bring about the end of the world, and that they want to be part of bringing Jesus back. I mean, what to me that is they're going to summon. That you don't summon Jesus back to the world. The only entity you can summon is the devil or a demon.
God, I
And if
understand you.
people,
It's crazy. You understand?
they're going to be bringing all these demons.
Listen, it's exactly what you just said there, right? This is what I believe happens in these Masonic lodges, in these secret societies, these skull and bones fraternities in America. They perform rituals, and they bring forward a demon through this ritual, and they put him into a certain politician or Jimmy. This is what happens. I think it's crazy. It's really deep.
Yeah, and the thing is, Bible actually, Jesus specifically says that. That's right. No man knows the time or the hour, and like a thief in the night is when. So all these people like talking about bringing him on the end of the world. It is really, really, really dodgy stuff. And these are people that hold power. It's absolutely frightening. Let me just play this for 2 minutes. Then here's the red heifer prophecy and the third temple in end times. Let's have a listen to this.
What if I told you that the world is ending and it's all because of a red cow? What? Sounds crazy, but stay with me, because as unusual as this sounds, this isn't sensationalism or clickbait. You see, on January 14th, 100 days into the war, Hamas spokesman Abu Ubaidah released a statement reiterating the motives for the October 7th attack against the state of Israel. During his speech, he cited the arrival of the red heifers into occupied Palestine and described it as a provocation, which seems like a totally random point, especially against the backdrop of the other justifications for the October 7th attack, such as the ongoing occupation, the expansion of illegal settlements on stolen Palestinian land, the thousands of Palestinian hostages illegally held in Israeli prisons, the blockade and siege of Gaza, and the normalization deals between Israel and the Arab states. But upon closer examination, the arrival of the red heifers is a significant event, not only for the people of Israel and Palestine, but for the entire world. You see, the red heifer plays a central role in a prophecy of epic magnitude. It isn't just a cow, it's a domino in what many around the world perceive to be the end of times. By the end of this video, you will understand how the religious beliefs of the world's most influential religions regarding the final destiny of mankind, known as eschatology, are converging onto a single point, a single event that could have ramifications so great that it brings about the end of the world as we know it. And it all starts with a red cow. Now, before we continue, I need you to understand.
Right, I'll play the rest of this tomorrow night. As I said, I really need to go. But here is my not prophecy, but my understanding. They want Trump back in the White House. The Zionists want Trump in the White House. Trump's going to go to war with Iran, and there's just going to be missiles flying absolutely everywhere.
It's funny, isn't it? It's great. What I would say, what a time to be alive. What we're living through is a huge. Sometimes I think we don't. I think all of us in our community don't realize just what we are actually living through.
No, they don't. They
serious.
Don't. And they again, this is the thing. Like, this isn't like the Intifada in like the early 80s in Israel and Palestine. This is all very, very different, because Israel really has been hijacked by, like, I'm not saying they were ever good people, but they've been hijacked by complete lunatics like Itamar Ben-Gvir, all these real psychos who regard like the Palestinians as just like dirt and deserve to be killed. They didn't used to think that. They were far more pragmatic. And the thing again about Trump is that the first thing everybody says is, well, he never went to war before and blah, blah. That's the whole point. That's why this psyop is perfect, because people are going to, and he's charismatic. Like, there's some people out there, and I know this is hard for people to realize, but there are a lot of people saying that Trump could be the Antichrist. Now, that's a big stretch from where I used to be a Trump tard. I used to push that stuff, whereas a lot of people saying like he's the Antichrist because he comes from the money, the power, and he's charismatic, you know, and people are saying he could be the Antichrist.
It's crazy. It's it's nuts. It's nuts. It's one good thing that we are seeing is like the Bridget Macron, like Mickey John, the real Mickey John, like they are panicking. They are panicking by doing this stuff now because you can see it. But it's when will the revolution happen?
I don't know. I think we might need some more space on that boat. We might need a flotilla to flee to safety. Rob, where's the best place for people to keep up to date with your work? Is it on
my YouTube?
Twitter?
On my YouTube.
I'll put your Twitter. Is your YouTube link on Twitter?
No, I've got a Twitter account, but it's at Esoteric Malta. At Esoteric Malta.
Solo Tango says, let's see what Trump does. He hasn't got an office yet. If they kill him, then all of your conspiracies about him being a Zionist were wrong. I'm gonna let me just show you guys this then, if people don't believe me now. Here's the thing. When Donald Trump first appeared in 2015, there was a real fear of him. There was a dislike. I mean, maybe it was all part of the psyop. I don't know. But when Ben Shapiro is hosting a fundraiser for Donald Trump and praising him, I think there's something going on.
As most of you know, I'm voting for Donald Trump in November. I've said so many, many times at this point. But I'm not just voting for Donald Trump. Next week, I will be co-hosting a fundraiser for him. Now,
I'm just going to skip this bit because I don't really want Ben Shapiro on my channel. Don't like him.
Family AIPAC, the Zionist Organization of America, they want Trump.
Don't want to be talking about this on here. So, nearly finished now. Thanks all for watching, guys. Really appreciate it tonight. Cap's not on straight because the camera's mirrored. It's weird. Anyway, yeah, we'll finish this off now.
Biden, here's the thing. Biden represents left-wing Zionist Jewish interests.
I don't want to be talking about this on this channel. Right, it's just about finished. We've got a couple of funny clips to finish. No long outro today, just a couple of funny clips, and yeah. But do give it a like, guys, as well. I actually got nearly 50 likes, so I do appreciate really a lot of people have liked it tonight, which is really helping me out. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate that. See if we can play this now.
If I'm wrong about this, I'll admit it. As I say, I don't think I am. And the background of Trump as well, when you really see it, his businesses being bailed out, the people that he's involved with, like Steve Mnuchin worked for Trump, taking TikTok. It's unbelievable. Rob, I'm going to let you go. It's getting late. Cool. Brilliant. Really enjoyed that, mate.
Yeah, it's been great. Make sure everybody brushes their gums tonight. Don't forget about that.
Brush our gums. That's good advice. Brilliant. You get that for free. We don't even charge you. Speak to you later, Rob.
Cheers. Thanks, David. Bye,
everybody. Bye. Can we get some R's in the chat, please? Some hard R's for Rob, please. And some hard R's in the chat, please, for Rob. I thought Rob was absolutely fantastic tonight. I think we really got deep tonight on that. We got deep down the Bridget Macron neo-vagina hole, talking about parasites. A lot of talk about parasites across the board. You're just not getting this content anywhere else. You're not getting this on UNN. You know, here's my other sort of critique, and I'm not naming any names.
So thank you, everybody. If you want to watch part 2 of where I left it off, because there is more, there's like another 24 slides, mainly bioengineering and what's inside of us. There we go. What's inside of us. So it's really interesting. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. I'll put the link in the chat again right now. I will be on. Yeah, there we go. Link is in the chat. But what we're living through right now is crazy. Enjoy it. And make sure you do live your life, which is what I'm going to be doing soon. And I talked earlier about Kate Middleton. I talked earlier about I'm going to set up a new YouTube channel, a more adventure one, me scuba diving, sailing around on the yacht, filming with drones, looking at artifacts under the sea, etc., etc. So we're going to be setting up a new channel soon in the next 6 months, definitely next 6 months, I'd say, and that's going to be really interesting. So yeah, so that's about it. We've got a couple of funny clips to play out. Okay, just leave everybody on a good note. We covered the Moscow attacks earlier, which looked pretty crazy, and we covered Kate earlier. You can check out Kate at the start of the stream. We got 50 likes, so thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Where are the clips? Yeah, we go. That's a funny one. Oh no, let me play this one first. Where is the priest one? There we go.
We have sinners here. They want to confess. What is you want to confess?
I'm here with my friend, and we really want to have a threesome.
Threesome?
Yes.
This is not approved by God.
Why?
It's against marriage.
God said that?
Yes, God said.
When?
Are you copulating?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you married?
No, we're not.
No.
Then this is a sin. Confess, and you will be forgiven.
I've been in the shower naked with a man before. That was fun.
There, here, the way we want.
Yes.
Threesome.
We want to meet a slave, and we want to take turns. You know.
Is this the reason you came to this unholy place?
Yes, yes. Could you find us a sex slave?
Come on, stop whining. Your kids are soft. You lack discipline. Well, I have news for you. You're now mine. That's right. You belong to me. You don't have your mummies running behind you anymore and wiping your tush. Oh, no.
In 1972, a crack commando unit was sent to prison by a military court for a crime they didn't commit. These men promptly escaped from a maximum security stockade to the Los Angeles underground. Today, still wanted by the government, they survive as soldiers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the A-Team.
Right, thank you all. I will leave it there. Ciao for now. Great show tonight. Really enjoyed it actually tonight. A lot of information. I will leave it there. So, yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'll leave it there. Ciao for now. Love you all. In Lakesh.
Mr. Anderson, welcome back. We missed you.
Don't bullshit me. Bullshit.
Bullshit.
Of the waves are scaling barren summits with the birds. Horizon is a new beginning. Rise and reign. Far from the fjords and the ice-cold currents, raven soar over new frontiers. Songs and sagas of a fate determined, shields and spears. Vows of favor or the thrill of plunder, pull together for the clan and kin. Clank of hammers and the crash of thunder, bound within. Oh, oh, the echoes of it.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Oh, 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 Valhalla calling me. Oh, oh, to love the strings of destiny. Oh, oh, Valhalla calling me. Valhalla calling me. Sails are swaying on the crimson rivers, blood and glory in the fighting fields. Shields are shattered into splintered timbers, iron and steel. Fires are rising and the bells are ringing. Glory take us into Odin's halls. Golden glimmer and the sound of singing as guards call. Oh, oh, the echoes of eternity. Oh, oh, Valhalla calling me. Oh, oh, to lock the strings of destiny. Oh, Valhalla calling me.
Right, guys, I'm off. Kind of don't want to go. I enjoyed tonight's stream. But yeah. Yeah, let's go. Ciao for now. Love you all. Oh, let me do my little thing with that one more time. There we go. Right, love you all. Bye bye.